I want to hear from different voices. I don't want to just hear from people that agree with me. We're about to dive into some even deeper topics. Ask a Brother Podcast.
Ask a Brother Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Ask a Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff St. James. You know, the revolution is going to be because of us.
Yo, what's going on, world? How are you? I know y'all are confused. You're like, who the hell is this guy? My name is AD the Kingmaker, and I'm actually doing a collaboration with my guy, Jeff St. James, today. Super excited. I am the host of King's Corner Podcast. I am a men's relationship coach, essentially, and I'm basically bringing men and women back together again. Jeff is someone who I've been watching in the space for quite some time, and I'm super excited to be able to collaborate with him today. So, Jeff, my guy, can you please come up so we can bless the audience?
Yes, sir, man. What's happening? How are you, bro?
I'm good. Super stoked about this conversation that we've that's at least been happening in my head for quite some time. It's very rare that I see someone on the internet and I'm like, you know what, bro, I want to talk to that dude. I want to pick that guy's mind. Like I said, high school and all of school felt like a trap. Like I'm just trapped with average people. God bless them. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not average, right? So I'm just super excited, man. How's your day going?
I can't complain, man. I'm busy. I'm hustling. I'm building up this platform at the speed of how fast this thing is growing. I'm trying to keep up, bro. I just checked my YouTube Studio app, I think yesterday or early this morning. And I think we cleared like 6,000 people in the last 30 days that's been added to the channel as far as subscribers. So we're building,
that's
man.
Insane, bro. You know what's dope about it, and what I'm glad about, like I'm getting to see you live it in advance. So like you're kind of like the pioneer in front who takes out the arrows and shit. And I'm just like, hey, bro, like tell me.
Nah, that was Tommy, that was Kevin. A whole lot of people got beat up on before I got in this space, man. So I'm learning, man.
I love it. So, Jeff, before we jump into the conversation, I want to give you some context on my audience and like who it is who's going to be watching this on my side, right? Okay. Basically, the men I work with are high earners. Well, let me start with myself because this is our first real conversation. So, I'm married. I'm a husband, father, all the things, and I have a tech background, so I was an engineer. Unlike I think a lot of Black men, I like therapy. I enjoy learning more about myself. And essentially I found myself in this place where I'm succeeding. I've got the money, I've got all the things all the trappings of success. And I just didn't feel whole. I didn't feel like him in my marriage, right? And so I've got a long story. I won't get into the background, but essentially, me and my wife are amazing. I am in the search for a sister wife. We're gonna find her one day. She's gonna show her. She's gonna pop up on one of these lives eventually. And so what I've learned how to do is just understand women at like a deep level. Like I don't believe in good people and bad people. I believe everyone is just doing their best, right? Okay. And I think that there's a lot of stuff in the manosphere or the red pill space, whatever the hell you want to call it, where guys want to just kind of come online and argue and go back and forth with women. And I'm just like, that's not cool. Why make war when we can make love? And so what it is that I do is I coach successful men. We're talking guys who make 200,000 to 2 million a year. They're leaders at work. They're respected. They're in shape. They handle their business, but they come to me because their marriage is kind of like gone quiet. The desire is gone. The respect has faded. And no matter how much they give, more money, more time, more help around the house, more chores, more everything, they're getting less back than they ever have, like from their wife, right? And my whole thing is teaching these men a framework for getting that desire and that respect back without begging, without therapy, without becoming a pushover. And I brought you on today because I think your perspective as somebody who sits across from, I'm assuming men, I'm going to get into your practice here in a minute, who are sharing their real pain with you every day is going to like hit different for the audience. Right. And I'll say this, like, it's rare that I find a guy who I believe who has a healthy relationship with his masculinity and a loving view on women. And to me, you're someone who embodies both. And so, bro, I'm just glad to be here. Like that's the scene. Hopefully that wasn't too much.
Nah, I get it. I appreciate that, man. I know that where I'm at now is not where I was 8+ 10 years ago. And I think a lot of us go through that journey of disappointment, breakups, divorces, feeling like you said, men are constantly recognizing there's a gap between, you know, what I was told or what I thought things would go with women versus experientially what's actually happening. And I actually hear it on the flip side, on the other end with women as well, where their vision of marriage, their vision of what marriage would look like isn't what it is when they were going into it. So
But we know they're delusional though. So that's not their vision of everything.
well, I'm gonna tell you this. Maybe over the course of our conversation, maybe we're gonna find out that maybe men have certain delusions as well that we need to snap out
Absolutely.
of, so that we don't find
Absolutely.
ourselves getting stuck in these ruts to begin with certain
Absolutely.
types of women and ladies for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this wasn't even the first question. I just wanted to pop this off and I want to get your thoughts on it. I believe that today most men, especially black men,
Mhm.
hate themselves, they hate their masculinity, they hate their manhood. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And why?
Mm. Hate themselves, hate their masculinity, and hate what else?
Their manhood. So it's almost kind of the
Mm.
same thing. So,
Yeah.
for example, if we grow up in a culture where you know certain music is popular and certain things like I don't want no scrubs, right?
Mhm.
Niggas ain't this, da da da
Mhm.
da da. And you grow up and you listen to it, and you're raised in a household where the father is absent, and so it's just the mother and the children. And you hear women, whether it's on social media, or friends and family, and they're just like men are trash, men are this. Like as
Mhm.
a little boy, you're going to grow up into a man, right?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so to hate or complain about manhood or masculinity or the way men behave,
Mhm.
and kind of like shun and shame them, I think that is almost inevitable for someone to then grow up and then dislike that part of themselves. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So
Yeah,
that's where I'm
yeah.
getting at.
Yeah. So there's two parts to this. There are legitimately men that hate anything that's associated with men. A lot of it is, like you said, being associated around an environment where anything associated with male preferences, male standards, male boundaries is seen as misogynistic. So then
Mhm,
everything that makes them literally a man and a man who has respect and value for himself, they're now taught to detest that. So that part's true. But
mhm,
there's also another part that I don't think is really outright hate or hate for masculinity or hate even for their I think it's the best way I could describe it, man, is I think that a lot of men hate or are so hard on themselves because they feel like they're not living up to and measuring up to the standard in their heads of what they think being a masculine man is. And I
they're
think
not living up to the standard of what they believe a masculine man. So it's are we saying
yeah,
shame?
yeah,
Like there's
yeah,
shame from falling short. Okay.
self hatred, bitterness, you name it. A lot of men actually that inward hatred towards self is the fact that I'm not living up to where it is I think I should be financially, with women, with peace, with in my relationship, you name it. They're not getting externally what it is they think that they want to aim for. And
Mhm,
then so now that's an outward hatred towards others and or self, if that makes sense. Where so it's like I have an idea in my head of how I want to be treated, how I want to be
mhm,
viewed. I'm not measuring up to that. So now you start to see that a lot of that negative emotion kind of express itself. This is why men that get those things are
mhm,
fine. You notice
mhm,
the men at the top who get access to a lot of the women and have the money and they don't complain a lot. they,
mhm, mhm,
they may have their own unique set of challenges and
mhm,
circumstances, but a lot of that hatred and anger, even towards quote unquote their masculinity, it's usually only when they're not measuring up to it, when it's
mhm,
impossible, when it
mhm,
maybe when they're the definition of what they think they need to do and how they need to live is based off of social media, based off
mhm,
of other guys, based off of
mhm,
this guy, that guy, or
mhm,
this influence or whatever. So when you're not able to live up to that, the equivalent would be like women who hate their bodies because they're
mhm,
looking on social media at all these women with these incredible figures and they can't maintain or live up to that. Now they hate their own body. Same
mm,
concept. Same concept where
got
you're
it.
constantly measuring yourself to either something that's impossible, unrealistic, or you just because of um, lack of discipline, immaturity, social circles, lack of networking, and knowing what and how to do it. Now you're turning that inward. So I think that's a
So it's
lot.
like long-term frustration from not being able to get the results that you want.
Yes. So it's both of those things are probably happening where
Mm-hmm.
you have the feminization side where
Mm-hmm.
feminists have done such a great job of taking over entire fields and trying to dot they're trying to come up with a form of definition of masculinity that doesn't include biology, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
include well, evolutionary biology. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
include natural sciences. It ignores everything that's probably an important thing to factor in when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
what does it mean to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what it means to be a man is, and for a lot of these ladies and the men that are following suit and listening to them, their definition of masculinity is whatever it is that she wants you to do. A real
Yes.
so that's why they say a real man is always dot 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 whatever they approve of.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not masculinity. And so
It's
you got
BS.
guys exactly. So you got guys that's following that. And then you
Yes.
got the guys who have their own working definitions that they're not able to live up to. And
Mm-hmm.
either way, there's going to be, like you said, that visceral reaction and anger towards the masculinity that either they themselves can't live up to, that they've
Mm-hmm.
determined, or
Mm-hmm.
that other people are claiming this is what it means, and now they're taking that concept and applying it to all men who aren't listening to being led by women in the in the space
Yes.
of defining
Yes.
what a man is. So
Yes.
that's where I think a lot of that like hatred slash self hatred kind of stems from.
I agree. We can take this in so many ways. I'm gonna stick to the questions, but man,
Hey, listen,
man,
listen. You got my time. I'm here. I'm free, and like we said, bro, I'm down. Like I know in reading your intro and reading about what you're about, like I felt like this would be a really cool, chill,
yeah,
conversation. So
yeah.
I'm open.
Okay, so two things then. Two things come to mind,
Hmm.
and I I tend to be kind of extreme. I know that, relatively speaking. One, I think as a whole, men would just do better if they just stopped. I'll just make a statement.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what women want, flat out. Period.
Hmm.
Just. And the reason I say that is because men will, and I think this. I think it's
That's a
naivete.
controversial statement, by the
I
way, but
know
I
it
hear
is,
you.
but it's okay. So check this out.
Uh-huh.
We'll start it this way. Why does it matter? Let's take the opposite side.
All right.
Why does it matter?
Well, it always matters what the person you want to be in a relationship wants. So that's a given. So I think what I've heard this statement before.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to scale it, what I think men are actually meaning is it doesn't matter what women say if their actions don't align with it. That actually is probably more accurate
It
than it
doesn't
doesn't
matter
matter
what
what
they
women
say.
want.
It doesn't matter what they say. It's like I agree with that. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
right?
Here's the context
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
go ahead.
coming from.
Okay.
So think about. I'll go for me. Let's say that I'm in high school, right? And there's this really beautiful woman that I like, and all the guys like, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say I heard that like she likes guys who wear a certain cologne, right? So I go get that cologne because I want her to like me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the guy who she likes just so happens he just likes that cologne. So we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it for different reasons. The motivation is different. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm walking, talking, smelling a way that is foreign to me. That's like I'm not really genuinely being me. I'm being what I think I have to be to get what I want from who I want it from. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so again, I don't counsel a lot of single guys. Like I think there's people far better than me on the internet to give them advice. So every time I'm saying anything, it's coming from the perspective of a husband, right?
Yeah.
And what I tell my clients is that, bro, you are valuable. Like, yes, the money, the cars, all that's valuable, but like strip all that away from you. You are valuable, like just who you are. And basically, like if you don't believe you're valuable, then you won't it will be a foreign idea for a woman to have to earn access to you. You'll just kind of give away your goodness and who you are and your masculinity and your strength and your problem. You'll give it away to a woman because you're trying to give her what she wants so that you do what you want, which is her time and attention and affection and all these things. As opposed to becoming the best version of yourself, putting yourself out there and seeing who responds to you well. Right. And I also don't I don't recommend men pursuing. Like I think about like cavemen and cavemen. I think about nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm extreme. I say a lot of things. I
Mm-hmm.
just can't imagine it, Jeff. Like me and you, we spend all day hunting. We spend
Okay.
all day hunting these hyenas, and I come back with the hyena booty. If she wants some of this meat in this cave room, she's going to have to come and do something for. Ain't no way I'm gonna go hunt all day and then be like, hey, please,
Mm-hmm.
just give just a little bit of I'll and I'm not saying none of them did it, but the strongest of them didn't. Right? So like you're picking fruits and berries and everything all day. And cool. If you just want fruits and berry, cool. You don't need meat. But if you want some real substance,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to come and you're not gonna come and threaten me and get what I've worked to build. Does that make sense? So like I have value inherently. And if you want access to me, right, then that means you've got to be respectful and kind. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. The part that makes sense is we all have value. Men have value, women have value. Where and when and how that value is recognized matters, right? So for instance, you said you went to school for engineering. Right? But if I took you into my field and you're sitting down in front of me and I need to hire you and I'm looking for a therapist, what does that value mean?
Correct.
Not much, right? So every man has an inherent value just like every woman does, but that value is predicated on the actual dating market, right? And you said like you got to build up your value, you got to build up this, but so some of that value, you have your normal intrinsic value as a human being, but then you have the relational value, you have the sex value, you have the economic value. So there's different value systems that often is only predicated on whether or not, like you said, other people are even responding to it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a piece where it's like, this is the equivalent of like, you go into a store and there's the stuff on the shelf and the store owner says like, oh, this is worth $1,000.
Yes.
But it's been sitting on the shelf for 6 months and nobody's touched it. It's not worth $1,000. Right. So when you get these ladies that run around and say like, oh, I want a man that's 6 feet tall and makes 6 to 7 figures and you got to do this or do that. But if she's not getting it, then that's not her value on the dating market. So when you reverse
I got you.
Yeah. So when you reverse it, the same is true for men. You could say all day, you got men that are rich that are still simps.
For sure.
You got men that are confident and still delusional. So there is that experiential part of, no, the women actually have to respond in a way that lets you know you are that guy.
I see what you're saying.
So that's the first part. And then that second piece, you opened up earlier. What did you say at the beginning about, not valuing or caring about necessarily what women say? What was it about what women say? Oh, no, sorry. You said we don't really have to care about what women want. And for me, that makes literally no sense because that sounds like the women who, when we asked all these panels, all these podcasts, right, where stuff is going on, and when they're asked, what is it that men want? They don't know.
Yes.
They don't know. And I'm like, so a woman that's getting into relationships and interacting with men sexually, relationally, and romantically, but doesn't understand what men actually want beyond sex, is going to be disastrous. She's going to give children to men she shouldn't. She's going to find herself in situations she has no business being involved in. And then she's going to end up taking those experiences and now telling other women how horrible men are. So when you got men who don't care about what women want, they're the ones that end up in a lot of horrible situations, right? So
like what?
All right. Well, number one, when you don't have to factor in what it is that woman wants, that probably explains why you're staying in and experiencing a sexless relationship, because you don't even know what she wants. If you don't know what women want and what they desire, you'll assume that, well, I'm rich now, so I'm good to go.
I got you. I got you.
Exactly. So it's not just about building yourself up. It's also about building up the intellectual curiosity to know what the opposite sex wants so that can translate into actual relational success.
I got you.
Exactly. So when you don't know now again, I don't centralize my life around what they say they want in a given day or week, because that could change. But what you do is you get enough general information to get most women would appreciate flowers, not the ones that are used to it the ones that get it all the time probably
Mm-hmm.
don't want it on the first date. I know in our
Mm-hmm.
head as a guy, when you blue pill, oh, first date, got to get her the flowers, da 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 da, right? But in reality, no, she wants that from the man she's attracted to.
Yes.
She wants that
Okay.
from the man.
So check this out. Check this out. So
Yeah.
you bring a great point. She wants that from the man she's attracted to.
So the only
However,
so hold on. So the only way you get
yeah.
there, the only
Mm-hmm.
way you get there
Mm-hmm.
is to, before you start leading in all the things that you think you're supposed to do,
Yep.
you're supposed to ensure that the attraction is mutual first. Then
Yes.
when you do, then you learn more about what she wants and
So
decide
check this
when and
out.
how to proceed.
But the guy who she's attracted to, she's already decided she was attracted. He doesn't have to bring flowers. And she could want flowers, but
partially
like,
accurate. Yeah. So
go ahead.
as the guy, like you said earlier, your job is to put yourself in position to
Mm-hmm.
first find out and ensure whether or not that attraction is even there. You'll save
Yes.
yourself a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of
Yep.
money
Yep.
if you can. The earlier you can confirm if the interest is mutual, the more
Mm-hmm.
you can begin to explore what is it that she wants and when and how often I need to provide that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the order. Blue pill guys, men that find themselves in these type of situations where they're very unhappy, it's lacking intimacy, they're feeling stuck, they're describing
Mm-hmm.
her as a ball and chain. They skip the steps or they did them out of order. You have to first start with mutual attraction first, not whether or not you attracted to her and trying to get her to like you. No,
Mm-hmm.
you need to. I'm gonna say it again. When everybody's arguing about cheesecake factories, guys who have good success with women know it doesn't matter. It could
Mm-hmm.
be at the crib, it could be at McDonald's, it could be at you name it. If she
Mm-hmm.
likes you, she just wants to be around you.
Correct.
Those
So
guys that want to, if you want a healthy, long-term reciprocal relationship where you're
yes.
giving and she's giving,
Yes.
you've ensured that there's mutual interest, mutual
Yes.
sexual interest, mutual
Yes.
attraction interest.
Yes.
Then you do the extra stuff that you're talking about. And the guys that keep them, typically, it's for one or two reasons. And you did it, and what you did say was partially right.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get with women younger, fitter, more fertile. They'll have that run, but long-term sustainability, you know
Yes.
what happens to a lot of those relationships. They usually
Mm-hmm.
end up single parents. They
Mm-hmm.
usually end up toxic and going their separate ways at some point.
Mm-hmm.
To retain it, that's where you need those additional pieces. And the key pieces, you actually do got to know and be interested in what the opposite person wants. Imagine a woman getting with a woman that's not interested in what you want.
So check it out. I think I need better words because you're a smart guy. So I think I need to refine what I'm saying. You said retaining, right?
Yes.
When I work with my clients, the first thing I start off with is, hey, y'all could get a divorce. Like it could split up, right? Like, so if you don't want to be here and she doesn't want to be here, or you don't want him to be here, or you don't want her to be here, we can part ways. Is that what y'all want to do? No. Okay, so you do want to be here. Great. And I just think that as an engineer, what did Bill Gates say? If you want someone to get something done, give it to an engineer because they're going to find the easiest, laziest way to get it done. So they go back to doing what they want, right? And so I look at it from the perspective of, if I've got to put effort in keeping you here, you don't want to be here. I would rather just let you go. And so the only way to let me give you a story. I remember one day, a few years ago, we moved into this house in this neighborhood. And our dogs got out. I think I let them out. They ran out the front door, right? So now I'm frantic. I'm panicking. I jump in the car and I drive around the neighborhood looking for them. I finally get them in. No one hit them. No one shot at them. I'm like, whew, right? A few months later, the landscapers are here, and I just let them out in the backyard. I didn't realize the landscapers were here. I didn't realize the back door was open.
Yeah.
The dogs got out. I didn't know. I was just watching TV. And then an hour later, I hear a dog barking at my door. And I'm like, whose dog is? And I go check and it's like, oh shit, it's my dog. Okay. I didn't go after her this time. She came back because she wanted to come back. So if she ever gets out again, she just out. If she want to come back, she'll come back. And that's kind of how I look at relationships with women. Like, if I've got to do all these extra things to get you to want to be here, and like, then it means that the attraction is not there. It's not inherent. Like, you don't like who I am intangibly, and you might just like all the other things. And so the more I do for you, the more incentive I give you to be here. And I only want someone here who like sees me the way that Chris Brown fans see Chris Brown. If she does not like me to that degree, we're gonna have problems anyway. So it's and I also had this period of time where it was like I'm engaging with many women, and it would always start the same. The attraction is super high. And then over time, it's like, whoa, how do we get here? She's raising her voice and cursing at me, like how, like it was over and over and over. And I started to notice the pattern. And so then what I did, I was just like, okay, bro, I'm the problem at this point. Like it's me. I'm consistent. I went through the edges of the earth. I got training from pimps, from swingers, from Muslims, from men who have multiple wives, wives who have multiple husbands. And I just studied any and everybody who I could get on the phone with or on a Zoom call with, and say, okay, what do you understand about female attraction and desire that I don't? Right. And what it came back down to is just self. It's like she can't, have you ever heard someone say that your woman is a reflection of you, or your woman reflects you back to you, or people reflect you back to you? If I don't respect myself, if my respect for myself is a 2 out of 10, she's going to either one, reflect back to me a 2 out of 10 of respect, or she's going to be like, if she's got really good character, she's gonna be like, hey, this ain't gonna work for me. Right.
Yeah.
In my experience, she's gonna reflect the 2 out of 10 back to me. If I speak poorly to myself when I make a mistake, she's going to speak poorly and harshly to me when she sees me do something she doesn't like. And internally, this is how I speak to myself in my head. So I just let her speak to me that way. And so that's what I mean by like becoming the best version of yourself. Not so that you can get women, but it's just like you treat yourself well and people respond well and they treat you the way you treat yourself. Does that make sense?
Now that I agree with 100%. In terms of setting the tone for how it is you want the outside world to view and treat you. And again, like you said, this applies way more than just women. This applies to networking. This applies to business, career, you name it. Where, as an example, even entering into this space, I've been working for 12 years before I, came and started doing this content thing. And me coming in, there were people who were like content creators or people who have been on different panels, whatever, they're reaching out to me. And it's like, yo, bro, you need to come through. And for me, I already have a perspective of like, if I am going to set aside time outside of my schedule, usually there's going to be like some type of benefit for me or even because think about it. Well, think about it. All right. So
I know I agree. Just to hear you say it out loud.
Right. So as an example, right? So you'll run into these scenarios where it's like, all right, so if prior to the internet or prior to this stuff, in order for people to get on my schedule, what would they have had to do? They would have to book me. They would have had to book a session. They would have put to book a consultation, right? Normal. But then when I go a little viral, these people that are out there are like, when you coming on our this? We need to meet, or you need to come. I need to. And I'm like, I don't need to. I'm open to it. And then sometimes I'll be like, all right, okay, man, this is my rate and my fee. And you see, pay, I gotta pay. But this is the difference. I don't get upset about that. What it is, hey, I don't even respond. I'll just let it go. But what I did was I set the tone for, if you want to have access to me based off of what I'm doing and building and what I've already accomplished, this is what it takes for us to even do this. Now, sometimes I make exceptions if it's like they got a good panel, if they have a lively audience, if their following is big. Like I'm always factoring this stuff in. But the point is women do that to us and we do that with women. So I absolutely 100% agree that you have to set the tone. But the problem is this: everybody that's watching this and watching this stuff and hearing these things haven't lived up to the lifestyle, haven't accomplished the things to warrant thinking they can get certain things from outside people. And you could, for instance, you could say what you want all day about what you want and what you think you deserve. But if your reality isn't matching up, that means there's something you need to address with that, right? So when we watch some panels on Fresh and Fit and all sorts of stuff, and the ladies like, he got to make $250 a year, he got to make $1 million, this and that, and her BBL's bad, the wig is bad, she on OnlyFans and all this other crazy nonsense. It's like she looks and sounds crazy delusional, especially if she can't
Yes.
retain that or get that. What I'm saying is when we're talking to men, there's men looking at and listening to the manosphere red pill talk, but they're not doing the work that you're saying on the front end so that they can experience that on the back end. So now they're just this is, bro, you walking into a dealership, a luxury car dealership, talking about I want this or that, and then they look at your credit score and how much money you actually got, and they're like, "By my guy, you can believe it, you can claim it, you can say all you want, get your ass off our property, right?" So that's what's also happening is now social media is kind of inflated egos and made people raise their standards without acknowledging, in order for your standard that's raised to be met, you actually have to move a certain way, do certain things, build up certain things. And I'm like, when you don't do that, you just look and sound crazy now.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with. I agree with 100% of it, right? And I don't even know how valuable this is for the audience. Now I'm just getting into this is mental candy for me, right?
Yeah.
I look at like outliers. I just watched Hustle and Flow for the first time this past weekend, right? I have a hard time like turning my brain off and just relaxing. A friend recommended it to me. I loved it, right? And in this movie, this guy has 3 or 4 women, right? One of them is pregnant, one is a stripper, one's a prostitute, and he's seemingly poor, right? Now this may not be a good example because it's a movie, but like you look at like these women who say, okay, I want this, I want a guy who's got 6 figures, 6-pack and all that. But like some of them have sex with men who live in their mother's basements.
Yeah.
Right. And that guy has nothing going on. Absolutely nothing.
He does. So this is what I mean. So this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Each of us, we have different buckets of what we can build on, right? So we have the economic bucket, right? Our financial situation. We have the career aspect, like the career check mark. Women respond differently based on what you say you do for a living. You have the genetic setup, right? Like how you physically actually look, how tall you are. So there's guys that naturally check off certain boxes where whether he put the work in or just was born with it, it's there. It's tangible. So you're going to get certain things. What I'm also talking about is the guys, especially the guys who don't have that, wasn't born with that, but thinking they're going to get those guys results. You're not. You're going to have to do something different.
For sure.
He was born 6'2" with a crazy beard and all sorts of stuff. You might got to go to the gym.
I can't stand guys with beards. I'm getting upset looking at you. Go ahead.
So that's what I mean. Where it's like it's when you do a true proper self-assessment, you know where you measure up. You know what things you need to tighten up on. And it's like, for me, it's like, all right, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm black. But 8 years ago, I couldn't grow facial hair. It was like, right, I had the locks, but I wasn't really dressing up as much as I start to dress up more now. So I took where I was at and added to that and built the momentum from there. And I'm like, each guy basically can do that. Now, there are guys where you're right, but it's very, very rare that men who do nothing usually end up getting the long-term options of
the long-term options.
Like you're and what happens is you see it all the time. The ladies will have their fun with them, but now it's time for me to get serious. Now I can't look at him as an option. They say it all the time. Now I got to settle down because I need a guy that's going to be reliable, be there for my child, and this and that. So it's like even those guys, they may get access to a lot of the women sexually. But then when it's time for her to be like, all right, who am I staying with for the next 40 years? Who am I going to have a life with? Who am I going to build with? These guys suddenly aren't legitimate candidates anymore. The guys they gave their chance to. So this is what I mean, where it's like that same guy that she would have, they mourn the fact, they cry over the fact that the guy they really want or the guy that they put so much into can't measure up to where they can stay with them.
For sure. So check this out. I believe the best scenario you can have is to be both. You're the guy who
starting it off.
There you go. The guy who turns. So there's I think his name is Homath. He has what I call the happy horny matrix. And a lot of the guys who I coach, they've maxed out the happy bucket. They dress well. They speak well. They have a very good reputation in society. So her being seen next to him boosts their reputation. However, they just don't make her horny. And so I tell the guys that, like, if you could choose to be a really rich guy or really like a really good partner or a guy who just makes women in general really horny, you would be best served by just learning how to make women horny, right? Because when she's horny long term, there's nothing she won't do. Right now, I'm not saying be a bum and be on the couch. I'm saying live the best life you possibly can, and don't end up in this. I feel for husbands, bro. I don't know who. So let me ask, who do you in your practice? You're a therapist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have what's your what do they call it? I'm gonna get it wrong. You call it not an audience. What does your population look like? What is that?
Yeah, my primary base of people I work with. Each year it kind of fluctuates. I definitely have, especially since coming out here, I actually have a major influx of couples.
Really?
Of either he or she finding my content and reaching out. And I've been meeting with, usually I would meet with a few couples. And now it's like, I think I'm lopsided. I think I have more couples than even individual right now, which is
really
crazy for me. I've always,
you're doing the lowest work, bro. That's why.
Hey, and you know that there's people in Africa I'm meeting with right now, Europe, couples, in fact. So it's definitely, the internet's amazing with this, man. But my general for the first 10 solid years, you know, it depended on where I was and where I was working, believe it or not. So when I was younger, I was actually thrown into the couple stuff first. When I first got my master's, I was doing a lot of couples work. In my internship, I was doing couples work. And then I went into prison. I'm only working with men.
Oh, wow.
Right. So me and my guys that were working together, we were only working with guys. And then from there, when I came out of that, I started working with kids. And then, you know, running an outpatient for the last 6-7 years, it was a combo of all three. Individuals, men, individual women, couples, you name it. It's kind of like you know, people kind of pick you, and you also let people know what's in your wheelhouse. So for me, it's pretty eclectic. It's not, I don't have I know I have specializations. I have things that I'm very interested in and passionate about. I definitely love working with men and relating to masculinity, sexuality, getting into relationships, staying in relationships, coming out of relationships. But man, I've had to work with ladies who were going through domestic violence situations and walk them through how to get out of that, right? Kids who got molested and how to navigate that. People who went through very, very bad traumatic experiences, shootings, stabbings, death of loved ones, loss of you name it. And if I told you the stories,
bro, I don't even want to hear them. That sounds emotionally draining. My goodness.
Yeah. So for men and couples specifically, I've realized a lot of couples say this to me. We've gone through 3 therapists. We've gone through 5 therapists. And this is the first time we heard this. What they're saying is she's hearing a lens that helps her to understand how she's showing up that's harming the relationship. And he's hearing his voice expressed that's not his own.
Yes.
That's something that a lot of men say all the time, individually and in couples. They hate therapy because it's usually code for whatever it is she wants, whatever it is she's looking for, whatever, when her needs are met, happy wife, happy life. So for me, it comes off that I'm like so crazy, but in reality, I'm actually more balanced than not. And it takes people a while to realize there's women who I've had therapists tell me everything was fine until they start trying to tell her what she needs to change and improve on. Now she's like, I think we need a different therapist. I don't know if this is the right. And I'm like, I set the tone from the beginning that if we're going to work on this, the relationship involves 2 people. 2 people, both people got things to grow on and improve on. And from there, you know, more often than not. And then I have ladies who work on their relationship that come to see me individually.
I love it.
And their husbands will be like, she's different. Like she'll tell me, yeah, my husband's happier now and this and that. Cause I know what men want too. So So yeah, man, it's
I asked you that question because of course I'm not a therapist. I just help men bring their women's desire back. And then once that comes back, everything else tends to get better. Right. I've had people tell me, bro, like I'm calling on them. They answer the phone. They're like out of breath. I'm like, what's up? He's like, oh, I'm doing push-ups. I'm like, why are you doing push-ups? He's like, well, I'm trying to get my wife back. Wait, where's she at? Oh, well, she will go, you know, she'll come home from work, cook dinner, and then go spend the night with her boyfriend. Right. Like this is reality, bro. Like these men are down bad.
Down bad.
Right? They
Yeah.
down bad. And I look at it, and from the outside looking in, I know because I've dealt with it, their woman feels unsafe.
Now, first, real quick, before I forget, because somebody already hit a super chat, Nomadic Crier, appreciate you, brother, for the $100 banger, just starting it off. So, hey, thanks everybody that's tuning in. This was a surprise interview combo that we wanted to do, and I'm excited to kind of do this. So, guys, make sure that you check out the 80 the Kingmaker for sure on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to either of our channels or platforms. But continue, my bad.
Yeah, man. And so this is what I'm seeing when I'm saying guys are down bad. And going back to the comment about it doesn't matter what a woman wants. I'm like, why are you doing push-ups? He's like, oh, because the guy she's with now looks better than me. And so if I get my body to be, better than his, she'll want me. Right. And it's like, I've also met other guys where like, it was crazy. The number was 16. He's been at his job for 16 years. His child was 16 years old. He's been married for 16 years. His woman had recently started cheating. He pulled up to the guy she was cheating on's house. I don't think he knocked on the door. He just saw her car to confirm it. And I'm just like, bro, you're telling me you don't know who you are anymore. You don't know where your life is going. You don't know what you want because you were with this woman for 16 years. Why'd you get that job? Well, because she got pregnant and told me to get that job. Did you like the job? No, I didn't like the job. Okay. And so now that she's gone, you've put no thought into who you are. Like you, as a young man, 17, 18, 19, 20, before you had a career, before you had a child, before you were married, that young man had dreams, and you've totally just completely disavowed him and tossed him to the side in an effort to be what this woman wants so that you can get what you want from her. Right. And so what I recommend guys do is figure out who you are, figure out what you want, start heading in that direction. And then the women who like you say, hey, this is cool. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
What can you do? What can you add to this such that it is going to help me get there faster or better or more conveniently? Or does that make sense? So it's like you're going this way, she's going this way too. And the thing about desire is that like when the desire goes away or the respect goes away, because they're coupled. Now she's not a bad person, but she is your enemy. Now all of a sudden you might be poisoned. You might, or it might. What does the Bible say? I'm not gonna sit here like I'm a Bible thumper because I'm not. But it is better to live
on the roof.
There you go. That right there.
Than in the house of a contentious woman or in a desert.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I don't believe these women are bad people. I think they're just highly afraid. They're highly. Here's the example that I give. Let's say that let's say you're outside, you're barbecuing, the wife is playing in the garden, the kids are playing, they're playing on the swing set, and a really, really small guy, like a midget or something like that, right? I don't know what the politically correct term is today. Comes up to you and says, Jeff, this is a beautiful home. That's a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. This is all mine now. Beat it. Right. In universe A, you kind of scurry away. Universe B, you say, hey, if you don't get off my lawn, I'm gonna bring harm to you. Right. In universe A, where you scurry off, your wife likely feels afraid. Like, how can he just like you kind of let this person bully you? And universe B, she feels safe because like you just protected the house and the kids and the family and all of that. And I'll tell my clients, I'm like, in universe A, you got bullied, correct? Universe B, you didn't. Great. Well, now let's swap it. Let's say that there is no one else. It's just you and your wife, and there's something you really want to do. You might want to go hang with the boys. You might want to go watch a movie. You might want to go hit the gym, and she doesn't want you to. So she nags and she moans and she complains. And you've told yourself, I don't even want to hear her complain. So therefore I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to, essentially, you've let her bully you emotionally. And because you've let her bully you emotionally, she no longer feels safe. And because she no longer feels safe, she no longer desires you. Because in the back of her head, her mind is thinking, if you can't stand up to me, how can you stand up for me? If you let little old me bully you, who's to say that we're not out somewhere and someone else bully you and now I'm unsafe? And so what I do with my clients, I help them tackle that part. Like this is your wife, brother. This is not your mother. She does not get to tell you what to do. You do not like take your nuts out of her purse and take them back And it's interesting when you see them stand up to her or really stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh my goodness, I've not seen this version of him." Okay, oh yeah, this and then all the sexy stuff in the bedroom comes back. The voice is no longer harsh; it's soft, it's calm, it's loving. And I'm like, bro, you've got to learn a way to correct your woman in a way that is loving and firm and not harsh, right? In my past, I'd be like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" I don't say that anymore. It's just now it's, hey, that's not okay. I do not appreciate that. You will speak to me with love or you will not speak to me at all. Right. And so I just kind of teach. So that's more of the context of why I say it does not matter what she wants. Like, she wants a man who knows who he is, knows where he's going, and to be put in her place, quote unquote, lovingly, respectfully. That turns her on. And as long as she's turned on, there's nothing, she'll kill, still go to jail for you. Right. Not that you should be doing those things, but like that's kind of how I look at it. And I look at like the bummy guys, and I look at pimps, and I there's a guy on my, I'll send you the YouTube video so you can see it. Dude has 2 wives. He stays at home and reads books all day. They go to work. And I'm like, how? What does this guy know that the other guy? Why am I working so hard? Why? What? It's, my mind is blown, Jeff. My mind gets blown when I see these outliers. And most people say, "Oh, he's an outlier. And I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing I see other person do that I can't do. It's not like he's 7 feet tall. It's not like he has a bunch of muscles. Bro, I'm gonna send you this clip. I literally would love for you to just check it out in your spare time, get back to me. And they interview the wives, and the wives are like, so, and people are like, well, why does he stay home and you guys work? And they're just like, oh, he's just smart. We could never stay home, you know. And then he comes home, they come home, and he just reads to them, or he's like, hey, here's what I read about astrophysics today in this book. And I'm like, huh? What are your thoughts on that when you hear that?
Well, a lot of what you say is really red pill in the sense that there is a legitimate argument that women will respond to certain social cues, that will respond to certain traits that men can display, especially in terms of dominance, in terms of leadership, in terms of moving in such a way, like you said, where when you have enough self-respect for yourself, you're not really in a negotiation mode. You're more so just stating this is what it is. The problem with that is when you're doing life with people who, you have to walk that fine line. And this is really the issue. And I'm glad you gave up that example of like, who the F you talking to, right? Because I think this is where we teeter on. Men will try to do show no grace, stand on business, make it known this is what it is. And then when things don't work out, they're trying to figure out why things aren't translating well. Because when you don't know exactly how to go about doing that and when to do it, you will come off like a dictator. You're not going to come off like a leader. You're actually going to come off like a dictator. And number 2, are you instilling respect or are you instilling fear? And that's 2 totally different things. And I think people who have experience actually working with couples and were trained to do so, they actually understand what both parties are needing and when it is that they need to do and show and exhibit certain things and traits. The man that's a really good leader actually is a great delegator. He actually isn't running everything. He's not telling her, do this, do this, do this, do. No. He's a good assessor of what her skill set is that's going to help him build up what he needs to, and says, this is where I need to plug and play you in and trust you that you got it. Whether it's the kids, whether it's the household, whether it's this, or this. So she doesn't have to run everything by me because I already know that we're aligned with what I'm looking for. And I'm going to trust your judgment with these whole host of things. And then on the flip side, when it comes to running things by your significant other, yeah, it's true. You wouldn't necessarily ask for permission. But I think what tends to happen is when men lean too far into that, they get to a place where, again, men who haven't been divorced, men who haven't gone through certain experiences, they're not understanding how they got to that. I was blindsided. No, she felt like she wasn't allowed a voice. She didn't need to be the leader, but she's not allowed to have it. Then what do you exactly? So that's why I'm like, if she's your wife, she's not your girlfriend. If she's your wife or girlfriend, she's not some side joint. So the way in which you talk to her should be drastically different, even in terms of how you consult her. A king that's really good is one that has no problem consulting his wife, but still making the final decision being up
For
to him.
sure. Agreed.
That's healthy masculinity. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that guys will, you know, man, I think that in the quest of not wanting to be walked over and be
Mm-hmm.
doormats, sometimes I think guys, you know, kind of overcorrect.
Yep.
And this
Yep.
is also and what we see with that on the other end for ladies is the overcorrection is can't no man tell me what to do. Can't no man
Mm-hmm.
tell me what to wear. Can't no man so because they don't want to be controlled, now
Yep.
they feel like they got to go to the other extreme.
Yep.
When you don't want a woman controlling you, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you got to walk around as if you control her. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
now to be fair, if you don't got control of your environment, I know
Mm-hmm.
we know who runs that house, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is a lot of times I think men will get better and further with women if they actually understood more of truly how they work. What
Yes.
women are looking for, I think, is the balance that most men can't exhibit. And when I say
Mm-hmm.
balance, it means you can be attentive. You can be super laser focused on your task and purpose. You can listen to what she got going on. You
Mm-hmm.
still can make a decision that she can agree or disagree with. That's
Mm-hmm.
the balance.
It is a
That
balance. That's the perfect
and that's
word for it.
exactly, and that's the hard. It's a hard thing that we're always trying to evolve and grow
Yes.
in. And I
Yes.
think when we lean too far one way or the other, that's when they lose respect. That's when they struggle with trusting your leadership. But that's when they get, you know, they start to wonder if why is it, you know, do I even matter? Do I feel, does he care about me? That's when they get to that spot when we kind of lose sight of the balance part. So, you know, it's one of those things where, man, I've learned and observed, like, I don't need to act like that to get
Yeah.
what I want from women or my
Yes.
wife. I don't need to,
Yes.
but I don't need to beg and grovel either and constantly
Mm-hmm.
ask for permission for things. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
like what you said from the beginning, when you find out the person you're pursuing actually genuinely wants to pursue you too,
Mm-hmm.
and you both, there's that genuine mutual interest, all the work you're talking about is just things you want to do, A, for yourself, and
Yep.
then B, because you genuinely see the investment that they're doing on their end. So
Yes.
the compete, of course, we got to go through, you know, the challenges of westernized women talking, saying this or
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But the sooner you check it and then make it known what you won't tolerate, you
Yes.
almost never have to raise your voice. You almost never
Yes.
have to keep going back and forth.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's the lesson I would learn with it is what
Yes.
you're saying that men are coming into after the fact, after
Mm-hmm.
you haven't set the tone, after you didn't set the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
after you've let her
Mm-hmm.
dictate so much of what you do with your
Mm-hmm.
relationships, your friendships, where
Mm-hmm.
you can go. Now you're trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, mm-mm. You can do that. You
Mm-hmm.
can start over with somebody else to set the tone the
Mm-hmm.
correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just reestablish what the boundaries needs to be and then let your actions reflect what you say it's going to be, and that's it. And
Yes.
at that point, you know, some women, when he starts packing up or
Mm-hmm.
when he starts giving time frames on things, and if things aren't lining up and his actions start aligning, now before you know it, if she sees value in you and
Yep.
she sees what that shift that you're talking about, 9 times out of 10 she's going to adjust.
Yes.
But when you do that, and I also say when men tell other men to do this in their private lives, when they don't live with these men and they don't,
Exactly.
you got to recognize you also don't know who these women are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Me
Yep.
and the guys last week literally just did an episode on female aggression and abuse
Yeah.
and the
Did you say
different
I almost got
strategies.
taken down or something like that?
It almost did. Yeah, they blocked it.
I gotta go
Darwin's
watch
channel
that
got
one.
taken down. The whole bunch of stuff happened during that live. But what I'm basically saying is just because she don't listen and she don't respect him doesn't mean when he starts putting all these things into into action, every single woman that's in that home, that, you know, every single guy, they're going to get the same outcome. They are not. You
Mm-mm.
got to know what type of woman to do this with,
Yep.
because there's some women that sees that as an open challenge, which means, oh, okay, now I got to grab a frying pan. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so now you think you're gonna run ish? Well, then maybe I need to call the authorities and let them know what you did to false allegations about you touching our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to realize some of the guys got into the situation because they're dealing with unhealthy women, toxic women, and when we try to tell them to do certain things, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always bring out the desired effect that you think you would want, which is, oh, now she respects me. Now she's
Mm-hmm.
listening. No, sometimes some of these ladies actually will double down in toxicity. So, and they actually can get
Agreed.
dangerous. So
Agreed.
we got, so that's why I'm like, as a therapist, I'm not just asking about how she's showing up. Is she just doing this with you or other people? I
Mhm.
want to know about her background. I want to know what she's likely to do. I want to see how
Mhm.
she's, because when we make general prescriptions that we got off social media and from pimps, and these guys try to apply it
Yep.
in their real everyday lives, a lot of
Yep.
these guys end up on bridges and taking their own lives by trying to do
Mhm.
what they heard or were told
Mhm.
and making stuff worse. There's literally men that told me the reason why I had to give up on fighting for custody was because she weaponized the kids and said what, you know, she was gonna make up allegations and say this or say that or say I put my hands on her even though I never
Yeah.
did. So there is no putting your foot down with that woman. It's putting
Correct.
distance between you and her as
Correct.
soon as possible.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's where I'm like, that's
Correct.
the nuance that I hope, you know, as life coaches, therapists, social workers, counselors, you name it, psychologists,
Yep.
there is no one size fits all answer
Agreed.
because there is, all women don't exactly act the same. Some naturally, you know, are very respectful and submissive and collaborative and want to work with you, and some need a little work. And then there's others where it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to
Mhm.
see, like you said, they're going to see you as an enemy, and they're just
Mhm.
using you as a means to an end. Financial security,
Yes.
the status of
Yes.
being a wife, giving them the kids that they want. All three of those women exist in society, and telling
Mhm.
all men to do the same thing. This is what can get us in trouble.
Agree. Agree. You're saying there's no one cookie size solution. I
Yep.
agree with that.
Yep.
But I also, and you know, something I appreciate about you, man. You are, like I said, I'm extreme. You're not. You're mature. Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm called
I'm all
extreme all
about
the time. This is funny to
you
me.
are
Thank
nah, 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 nah. I don't. I just again, I think you're a guy who values himself.
you.
Um, I don't. I try not to put rules on myself, right?
Okay.
But I do believe in frameworks. And so when I'm hearing you say, you know, there are some women who are unhealthy and toxic, I also try not to use cliche words like toxic, like
Mhm,
stand on business. Like if I wasn't using these words 20 years ago, I don't want to use them today. I don't want to add new vocabulary to my language because the times have changed, right?
mhm,
Um, and so, but one rule I absolutely do have is that I don't make enemies out of women. I don't. Like I
mm,
respect, I fear women. I'll just come out and say it that way.
mm,
Meaning, like the level of which they will go to be spiteful. Not all of them, but put it this way: if we have you have violent people in the world, right?
yep,
But if we look at the top 1% of violence, the top 1% of violent people, they're usually men, and these men are usually in prisons,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so if we look at the top 1% of spites, meaning people who are willing to go to extreme lengths in order to hurt you, meaning they'll hurt themselves to hurt you,
mhm,
I'm going to go ahead and say, I believe those to be women, right?
okay,
Because their capacity for that is so large. I don't even want to play with
mm,
that fire. I'm either going to be loving to you or I'm not going to be engaging with you whatsoever. Like I'm not,
mm,
I've
mhm,
engaged with women where like they're saying something. I'm like, hey, I don't appreciate that. And they keep going. Oh, okay. That's the kind of woman you are. Cool.
yeah,
Exit stage left.
yep,
Right.
yep, yep,
And
yep.
so the one rule that I do have is do not entertain spiteful women because like bro, I've
Ooh,
been with my wife now for going on 16 years. We've been married for 6 years. We had a point in there a year or two where we were, you know, not together. I was doing my thing, she was doing her thing, but
mhm,
never, not one time did she try to keep my children away from me. In
mhm.
fact, she was like, nigga, come get them. I got stuff to do. Right. And it's because she's not spiteful. So
Mhm,
I don't really believe in toxic people. I think
mhm,
people are just people and they are everyone's afraid of something
mhm,
and
mhm,
they've kind of got all these stories in their head um and they've took advice from their grandmas and their aunties and their uncles and
mhm,
it's just like
mhm.
bro, you have to do what's best for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of psych hacks and I think I've heard them say people don't want relationships. I don't believe that. I think people do want relationships. They just want quality relationships. They want loving relationships,
Sometimes
right?
I agree with him. I agree with him.
You
No,
do?
yeah, yeah. So shout out to Whole Math because he came through a couple few weeks ago, and Psych Hacks. He came through, I think it was last week actually,
Yeah.
to the channel. And I appreciate both those dudes. And the reason why I agree with him is because if your behaviors don't align with someone that wants a relationship, then you don't actually want a relationship. You
your
want the
behaviors.
benefits of it's the equivalent of somebody says they want to be married,
Mhm.
but then when you look at how they behave, how they move, what they do, their actions are making it known they want the perks of marriage. They
Mhm.
want the title of being married. They want the advantages that comes with being married, the security that comes with being married. They don't
Mhm.
actually want to be married. So there's people that want the things that can include a relationship.
Mhm.
But is it enough for them to just say that that's what they want, or we have to go off your actions?
Got
Words
I
and
got
actions
you.
don't
I
always
got
align.
you.
So I think that a lot of us, all 98% of people in the world, wants all the positive things that comes with a relationship.
Mhm.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
But once you get into the need of, you just said it yourself, I can come in at 2 in the morning. I can come in at 4 in the morning.
Mhm.
I don't want no, clearly I don't want no no stable, healthy marriage or relationship if I'm doing that
Yeah.
on a regular, right?
Yeah.
So, especially for no reason. So I'm like,
Mhm.
no, you want a woman that's there, but you don't
Mhm.
want a marriage where you're going to be held accountable to why you're
Mhm.
coming in at 3 in the morning every night, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I mean, where it's like our actual behaviors, man, when you really, really slow down and really look at it, it's like, I think what most people want are all the relational benefits that comes with a relationship.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've asked at least 8 people now that's come on this platform,
Yeah.
life coaches,
Yep.
counselors,
Yep.
different people, millionaires. I've asked different people.
Mhm.
I've asked it just on the female side, what's the percentage of women that you think are wifely ready to be your
Mhm.
wife, that's single currently or not married now?
Mhm.
They're hovering between 10 to
Oh, it's low.
20%. 10
It's
to
low.
20%. So that
Mhm.
80% does not want a relationship. They want a guy.
Yeah.
They want the bills paid. They want financial
Of course.
security. They want to be able to do what they want when they want. You don't want no damn relationship. You want everything else but what would include an actual relationship with an actual man. So that's why I would disagree, and I would align with Dr.
Mhm.
Orion with Psych Hacks, because it's like when you're on our side,
Mhm.
you actually get to go into the weeds of why it
Yeah.
is that people actually want a relationship. They don't.
Mhm.
They want
Mhm.
the best parts of it. They wanna do
Okay.
the
I got you.
yeah, yeah, it's like a
I think my
buffet.
bias is that I'm talking to married people, right? Like that's the only people who I coach.
And you think everybody that's married wanna be married or stay married? No.
Well, see, here's the thing. To me,
Mhm,
there's a difference between a relationship and a commitment. I don't think everybody wants commitment. You and I are building a relationship here and now as
yeah,
we're speaking, right?
yeah,
So that's I use the word relationship in a very vague, very general sense of the word, meaning I
mm,
think people want to have others around them that they add value to and they receive value from. Now, I
mm.
believe women, I think Americans, I think our culture, Western American culture makes just about everything worse. Right. And so
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
women today, bro, like
Mhm,
imagine being born a pretty woman who at 13 and 14 you start to realize like men are looking at you and women are hating on you, and now you
mhm,
have influence, you can just ask people to do things and they just do, and like you never
yeah,
had to build character, you never had to become a good person, whatever that means, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
so you're just kind of just entitled, and superstars and celebrities want to fly you out. Like it's like they're not bad people, they're not toxic people, they're just they just who they are, and they've never had to develop these other things, and it's not them, it's the culture. Because if we were to take these
mm,
women and drop them in Afghanistan somewhere where women can't work, you can't
mhm,
have any higher education, she would come back a totally different woman because the culture has was different, right? And
mm,
so, like to say people don't want relationships, and again, I'm using the vague sense of the word.
mhm,
I've got female friends who are beautiful, man. They're gorgeous, they're feminine, they're awesome, and they're single. And it's like I get it. It's because you have too many options. You have too many
mm,
to do chasing, and you don't want to pick one. You want to
mm,
be able to benefit from them all, right? And I get that, but at the same time, like I just joined the dance community, and it's amazing, bro. The people are friendly,
mhm, mhm,
and it's like the difference between relationship and commitment. Commitment is like I don't care what anyone says. I don't think anybody wants to commit to any one thing forever. Forever isn't even a thing. Nothing
mm.
lasts forever. Like the sun sets and I'm sorry, it rises and it sets, and eventually one day the sun will burn out.
Okay.
Nothing lasts forever. So there's
Mhm,
no way that I'm gonna meet this woman and then it's like, hey, I'm gonna love you and do this and be with you forever. It sounds good. I get it. It all sounds good. However, I expect that you treat me a certain way. Otherwise, we can part ways. And as long as you're treating me how I want to be treated, I'm treating you how you want to be treated, we can decide how long this lasts. And if ever either of us doesn't want to do this anymore, let's have a conversation about it. Let's part ways respectfully. I think that's the best way that you can do it. So commitment to one job, one car, one, like that's hard. I don't think a lot of people want commitment, but I believe everybody wants high quality relationships.
Yes and no. And again, I'm weighing it through the lens of how people are actually showing up, what they're actually doing. And even what you're saying, people want commitment. We can say that, but what is their behavior? What are
I don't think they want commitment. I don't think.
You said not commitment. You said
high quality relationships.
High quality relationships. Okay. What's your behavior saying that shows me that that's what you want? And is that the case? And again and again and again, it's like, who do you surround yourself with? Who do you hang out with?
Hold on. The caveat are young, beautiful women. They probably don't.
But that's literally half of think about it this way.
Yeah.
That's literally almost exclusively what people are talking about when it comes to relationships that's trending on social media. Everybody's talking about is what younger women between the ages of 18 to 34 are doing.
Yeah,
is really what everybody's talking about, because young men are affected, older men are affected for good and bad reasons. The older women who are competing with the women who make the decisions that they make. What I'm saying is man, even when we say high quality, I don't believe that. It's extremely subjective. It often depends on where they are in their life. And they often maybe start to prioritize that after 30. Certainly,
because the culture tells them to at this point.
So, fine, but regardless of the explanation for why it is, it still is. And I think that a lot of people who don't have and don't maintain those things earlier may want those things you're talking about later. But there's definitely enough. There's so many examples that we can point to at this point where, when you're born in America, you have all the options you want. And we can say it's because of the culture, the upbringing, feminism, you name it. Regardless, what I've seen is, I think a better answer of relationships, commitment, what is it that people actually want? A true framework for me is people want as much leverage as possible and to offer as little risk as possible relationally with others. That is the actual most accurate thing to me to describe what it is that people are doing in every season of their life. Every season of your life, ideally, the true ideal in your friendships and your relationships and your business connections, etc., is you want to put yourself in position where you have as much leverage that you can negotiate and you want to risk as little as possible. So if I can get access to sex at 18 or 24 or 32 or whatever, and I don't have to give or do much else, and you're not demanding anything else, that's what I'm going to give. That's what I'm going to take. If it requires more, then I'll give more. And I'm like, when you look at it through that lens, men and women across the board, friendships, relationships, sexual interactions, networking opportunities, career opportunities, we're constant. This is why we go job to job to job. This is why the body counts keep going up, because we're putting ourselves in positions where we're going to get something out of it. We want the leverage. And ideally, especially if we're doing it repeatedly, we want to risk as little as possible. So even in the most volatile of situations, abuse situations, toxic cheating, rampant cheating, whatever you name it, if I'm getting certain things for why I'm staying, I keep risking, threatening, saying I'm going to leave because I'm trying to gain back more leverage, and my risk, I'm trying to get my risk to come down. Just promise you won't do it anymore. Just tell me you'll leave them alone. If you block them out, that's what people are.
I see.
That's what it's not. It's way bigger than just people just want romantic relationships or marriages or high quality this. It's really about how much can I get, how little can I risk, and how enjoyable is it? Like if you, that combo never really
Sounds
changed.
good. I ain't gonna lie to you. How much can I get? How little can I risk? What was the third thing you said?
And how enjoyable can it be? Like that's how
Yes,
people
yes,
tend to move,
yes,
and oftentimes those fluctuate based off of where we are in life. So
yes.
when you're 25 as a woman, 23 as a woman, 28 as a woman, and
Mhm,
you're in your physical prime in terms of how beautiful
mhm,
you look, how everybody wants you, how you can give every man exactly what he wants.
mhm.
If she has 3 or 4 or 50 suitors that wants to propose to her, she's
Yeah.
probably not going to pick the guy that says, "All right, well, you got to sign the prenup."
Yeah.
Not if all the other guys making what you make. No, I'm going to pick the guy that wants to offer the same exact thing and no prenup. They're going to choose
Hmm.
like if all things are equal. If all things are equal, who do you think she's
Mhm.
going to pick? It's very obvious. She's going to pick the
Ye
one where she has more leverage.
So wait. So I hear
Yeah.
you, and I'm agreeing with that, and
Mhm.
I think actually I agree with all that except the last part. You said the one she has the most leverage. I think a woman operating from a place of fear is going to pick the one who's going to give her the most leverage, which is 99% of women. Okay. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
most
Okay.
of
Okay.
them, yeah. No,
Mhm.
so yeah.
Mhm.
I look at so I look at like my definition or my standard for my relationships is outstanding. Outstanding.
Okay.
Meaning you see it and you're like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible. That's amazing. Like the guy who I said who has two wives and he's at
Mhm.
wow, outstanding, right? And
Mhm.
so they're going to, and I'm not big on shame. I don't I know a lot of people, especially in the red pill community, they shame women being sluts and all these other. I'm like, baby, do what you want to do. Because ultimately that's what you're gonna do anyway. Me shaming you is not gonna stop you. You're just gonna do it in
Mhm.
private, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not about shame. Um, and so I think all things being equal, they're gonna choose or I'm gonna say they should. I don't want to use should.
Mhm.
I think that all things being equal, women tend to pick the men who they're the most attracted to, who they have the most desire for, right?
Mhm.
Meaning, if you look at like and I'm just the whole pimp dynamic, it just is interesting to me because you have tricks, right? These are the men who spend money to get access to the women.
Yeah.
They the depending on how desperate the man is, the woman has all the power. However, she takes the money from him and gives it to another guy. So she values the pimp. She's extracting it from him and giving it here. And
Yeah.
he could potentially have less, but he's far more attractive and she values him more. Otherwise, why would you listen to what he says? Why not just do it yourself?
Mhm.
Why engage with this man at all? So I think that most people are operating out of fear, and I completely agree with they want as much as they can get. They want you say leverage. I look at it like power, right? But
Yeah.
I think we're saying the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that the people who have the most outstanding relationships, the one that I see, and I'm like, wow, man, good for them, is where the woman is with the guy who he's her number one choice. She did
Mm.
not settle for him in her mind. Like she, I know you said no woman settles. She perceives him as the best she could possibly do. And for that reason, she's less likely to cause problems. Now she's still gonna cause problems. Okay. But it's just gonna be it's a lot less. It's gonna be problems of insecurity. Like, hey, do you still love me? Do you still think I'm the prettiest? Do you,
Mhm.
all these things, right? But ideally, I see the happiest, the most fruitful relationships are the ones where the women pursued the man and they got the man's heart, and she believes this is the best that I can do, and I didn't settle.
Mm, yeah, you said a few different things. The first was about your view of shame. I understand it. Other people, even come on this platform, have said like their views of shame. Shame actually is extremely effective, but it only
Mhm,
works when it relates to who it is that's dispensing the shame, and
mhm,
how. And like you said about culture, when there's a cultural expectation of shame, behaviors do change. But when the culture is trying to make it to where body count don't matter, your past don't matter.
oh no, it
Uh,
matters. All that matters.
okay, so what?
Yeah.
So women only get it when they're having to face the consequences of those choices. And the same is so yeah. So basically, it's like you can remove shame all you want. The
Mhm.
consequence is still going to be there in the end,
Oh, for sure, for
right?
sure. And I believe in letting the loser lose though. Like let her
Fair,
deal with the
Now, with
consequences.
me, I would add to that However, if I'm in this space and I'm on a microphone, am I going to prioritize being honest, or am I going to prioritize pandering? If I'm going to be honest, some of you are going to feel shame. I don't have to do
Mhm.
much anything.
Exactly.
If I say this is the standard, this is what
Mhm.
helps you, this is what hurts you, either you measure up to it or you don't. And if you feel like you
Mhm.
don't, as a guy, if the ladies are repeatedly saying, this is what we're looking for, this is what we want, and I decide I'm still gonna go out there, but I'm not gonna do or live up to anything that these women are saying, generally speaking,
Mhm.
eventually I'm going to feel the consequences of
Yep.
rejecting what clearly the market overall is saying. And the same is
Mhm.
true for women. There's
Mhm.
women who 10, 20, 15 years ago, I would have went crazy for trying to get access to. Now, I wouldn't even respond to their DM or email.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even be in the same room with them intentionally.
Mhm.
And they know why. Because I see how you carry yourself. I seen how you
Mm.
move. I've seen what all the stuff that I've known that you've gone through.
Yeah.
We're not even in the same bracket relationally anymore in terms of emotional relational intelligence. You're not even you're a
Mm.
liability in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's the consequence. You could feel shame about it. You cannot
Yeah.
care, but that is the consequence of how you decided to move. So that was my initial view of it. And then the second piece, man, what you said some interesting stuff. Again, I agree with a lot of it. I think the toughest thing with navigating this stuff when it comes to men and women dynamics and everything is when it comes to this issue about settling, right?
Go
I
off
think
on them. Let them have it.
I'm gonna say it right now. My starting point is I don't think women settle for men. I don't think there's such a thing.
You don't think it's possible?
No,
Or you okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
no. And this is what people gonna hate me, and it is what it is. I don't think they understand that the man you got with or choose to get with is the
Mhm.
one that you were. Kevin said it. Everybody said it. That was the best you thought you were able to do at that time. You could
Mhm.
feel like you settled. That doesn't mean that you did. If
Mhm.
if if you're with a guy who has 3 different baby mamas, that's your level. That's your
Jeff,
level. Like, I don't
why are
know,
you so mean? Why are you so mean, Jeff?
bro. Hold on. Let me say it differently. Let me say it differently. All right.
I'm trying to
All right.
trigger you if you
Yeah,
can't get anything
yeah.
to say.
Like, because it's because I'm trying to get women to understand and help them to understand. Women get to decide a whole host of things, whether or not they're going to bring a life into this world, whether or not they're going to keep a
Mhm.
pregnancy, whether or
Mhm.
not somebody's going to have access to sex. They can decide a whole host of things. They can even be proposed to. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, it's 2026. I've seen a couple examples of women trying to propose now, but in general, they're not the ones that's determining, yes, now we're going to be married. I'm
Mhm.
going to make you a husband. That's not a thing. You're not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at best, all you can say is yes or no.
Okay.
So this is what I mean. Take the man that is way above your league that all women want. If you
Mhm.
can't walk up to that man, if you can't call that man and say, are you going to marry me this year? And he's going to follow through and do it. If he's not doing that, then you don't get to talk about settling or not. The men are deciding whether or not you're for them. Whether or not he's going to make you a wife.
I got it. I got you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got
So I'm
you.
like,
I
so
got
from a
you.
settling aspect, no, you're getting what you can get as a
Mhm.
woman.
Because if you could have got better, you would have got better.
Exactly. Or when you were fitter, when you were younger, when you had less trauma, when you had less kids, you had more
Mhm.
options.
Mhm.
So then you qualified for those men. So
Mhm.
what my mind is like you're broke and you walking into a Lamborghini dealership talking about I don't think I want this one. You don't get to decide. You're not qualified. You're not in the leverage position to talk
You
about
can't
this.
walk out of here with nothing you looking at.
You can't walk into a room and tell a guy like you're gonna be my husband.
Mhm.
I'm gonna propose to you tomorrow. Like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Your body, how you treat yourself, how you present yourself, what
Yeah.
you bring to the table, your relational romantic baggage or issues, kids or not, all of that is factored into whether or not he thinks, the man that's in front of you thinks, you're worth X, Y, and Z. You're worth having more, expanding a family with. You're worth starting a family with. You're worth getting married to. You don't, women don't set, women are picky, but they don't get to settle. You get all the options to look at your different assortment of options that you actually have. Oh, this guy only wants to smash. This guy wants to will put me on a pedestal, but I don't really like him. This guy's overweight. This guy's, you get options, but you don't get to decide, like you don't get to say you're settling. That's not how it works. I know, like it's really, and again, I feel like at some point, man, I'm gonna like slow down and really write down what I mean. You gotta come up with much better analogies than the one I just came up with just now. Where it's like women don't like when people are like, oh, how could she settle for him? Because that's what she could get. Like, that's
two things. I remember we had a very, very, very rough patch in my marriage, right? Years ago. I was in several therapy sessions, reading all these books. I've got it figured out now. But I remember one day I was just frustrated talking to my wife, and I'm like, okay, if this ain't good enough, then what do you want? Name a nigga from a book, name a nigga from a movie, name a nigga down the street. Like, what do you? And she was like, I don't know. And she was crying. She's like, I don't know. And I realized at that moment, they all have this imaginary man in their head that does not exist. He's perfect.
He started it off right.
And she settled for your realistic ass. That's what they mean by settle.
Yeah,
that's what they mean.
Yeah, that's what they mean. Yeah, yes. But in reality, when reality sets in,
they don't live in reality.
Yeah, but for me, it's like that's what you. So, for instance, we'll phrase it differently, man. You leave the guy. You divorce, break up. You ghost them. You whatever. You leave.
Yeah.
If you get a different guy that checks off way more boxes. All right, timing, putting yourself in the right position, having what it is that he's looking for, wanting, and if he's stupid, now you may have leveled up, right? But that's what you now are able to obtain and reach relationally or emotionally or whatever. Like that's it. That doesn't mean that like what it is in my mind is what you're saying is totally accurate. It's women taking the illusions and dreams and picture of what the ideal man is and using that as a measuring stick to determine whether or not they need to look down on the man that they're with. And because it's like, could you imagine if men outwardly were doing this with the women they're actually in relationships with? Hold on. Tonight's conversation, you walk up to the mic and you say, man, I feel like I've settled for my wife. That first of all, the man wouldn't have made it out the room alive. And I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Women always are going to have way more demands of us emotionally than not in terms of what they need in order to feel secure and at peace and happy. So I'm like, if I have to do and put up with way more to keep you happy, and you think I'm settling for you, that's not. No.
You sound offended. Can I share my screen real quick? I think this is what they're trying to say. Let me share my screen real quick, man.
Okay.
I really, I know we run out of time here. Can you see my screen? Oh, can the people see it? There we go. Okay, so this is from Home Math, right? Can you see my mouse? You can see my mouse. All right. So when they're saying they're settling, this is what I tell my clients. You've got the happy axis over here. So secure, charm, character, reputation, understanding. When they say they're settling, what I think is actually happening is they're getting a really, really good guy in the friend zone. They're settling when it comes to masculinity and you making them horny. It's like, yeah, he's safe. Yeah, I got the house and the car, and it's just I'm bored. He doesn't make me feel anything. He's a good guy. He just doesn't make me horny. So they see other women with bad boys and guys who make them hornier, and they're settling in that regard. I think that's what
it can certainly be this. But when their mind, that can be applied to anything. Find it. So you got guys that look you said it earlier, guys that look great. guys that they hit the genetic lottery and don't work, don't
Yeah.
produce anything, don't bring anything
Yeah.
to the table. So he's not. So in their worldview, they're viewing it. They're viewing it through the lens of like he's not checking off a box in some way or multiple boxes that I ideally want. So therefore, I'm settling. And I'm like, y'all convinced that all women that are in relationships are just walking around 10 out of 10s? Y'all really believe that? Yeah.
No, but a lot of them are settling for a man who does not turn them on. They are settling in that way. Because if he did turn them on, she wouldn't be complaining.
No, because brother, I'm trying to tell you.
Well, she's gonna complain. You're right. They're gonna complain no matter what.
There's going to be a box as a man. There's going to be
true.
something that she always feels you need to improve on. Now, she
Yes.
may be legitimately right, but like I've seen the guys that would look great and were very charismatic and didn't have to do much else, and then now she's complaining about what he's not doing on the other end. So that's why I'm like,
but Jeff,
it could be sexual.
Women are unsatisfiable by nature. Period. I learned that from Psych Hacks. They're unsatisfiable by nature. Check this out.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Uh-huh.
You are a masculine being. I'm a masculine being, right? And we both have a feminine and masculine side to us, right? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
36.
Okay, 36. At what age do you anticipate waking up and saying, you know what? I felt good enough. I don't need to know more good days. I don't need to feel good anymore. I've just been never. So the feminine side, your feeling self is insatiable. You're a masculine being with a feminine side or piece that's insatiable. Now imagine being a feminine being. Their very nature is unsatisfiable. Okay, we're taking it back full circle. They're unsatisfiable by nature. So to try to satisfy her is a losing game. Like if you're saying, I want to give this woman everything she possibly needs and whatever to be, it's a losing battle. It's like a black hole. And you just
it's a joke. You know the running joke, right? The running joke of like what they played it on Joe Budden was the joke where what's her name? Melissa Ford was sitting there and they were playing the video of the comedian talking about how, in the Garden of Eden, Eve had everything. And then she was like, you can never die. You got all the food you want and it's paradise and you ain't got to work and everything. And she's like, yeah, but what's next? And like,
they're unsatisfiable. Yeah. That's just what it is. So and once you learn and understand that, you don't have to be so upset about it anymore.
So what I was going to say is I think it's actually a human issue. I think that there's I just think that it plays out and looks different when it comes to men and women, in male and female desires or whatever in general. So, of course, one person could say that there's always the sexual component to that for a lot of people. Some people would say it's money, where people who are rich tend to want to continue becoming more and more rich, right? And then you got these dynamics as well. And social media doesn't help. Influencers don't help. So there's a lot of different things that plays into that. I think women are more susceptible to the marketing that plays into a lot of those desires. But this idea that like men are immune from having their version of this, it just expresses itself differently. It looks different.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying men are satisfied. No, I'm just saying for certain, 100%. It is certain. I heard about a lady on a boat. It was a lady who had dated Michael B. Jordan at the height of his, movie career, right? And she was on a yacht with this guy, this handsome, buff, well-known, complaining about something. Unsatisfiable. If Michael B. Jordan on a yacht.
So just to clarify from a relational standpoint, I absolutely get what you're saying, where it's like, look at the dudes who have done the most lavish proposals, weddings, major purchases or whatever. A week later, she unhappy about something. I said, this didn't even buy me like a month before you're upset about something and complain about the next thing. And so I get that piece. But like I said before, man, like I'll give you an example for men and what this looks like for a lot of ladies' perspectives. She'll give you a child. Let me say it again. She gave you a human being that looks like more like you than her. And you're asking for anything else? Think about this seriously when what I'm about to say. Because we're so used to, well, that's their job. That's what they're meant to do. I don't think you understand if we really slow that down for a second. She risked her life to give you another life to continue on your family line and legacy. And you're asking her tomorrow morning what she making for breakfast.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's reasonable to be like, well, we got to eat, right? but the idea,
you're saying we're asking for a lot.
That's the nature of just how we're so desensitized that we don't even realize like that type of stuff, where it's like, I think sometimes it's like, yo, we give so much on our end, and it's very normal for us to humanize what it's like to constantly be giving and sacrificing and giving so much. I'm telling you, they're leaving relationships and marriages because they keep saying how much they're giving in contrast to what they're getting. Yes. So there's something going on with, and I think it's a human issue. It just looks different. And I think the greater issue is both sides want what they're distressed about, frustrated about, to be fixed. I want you to stop. Basically, from the guy's side is, I want you to not nag as much. I want you to stop complaining as much. I want you to stop always wanting more and more and more and more. And then for her, it's like, all right, let me get this straight. I'm giving you access to sex. I'm giving you children. I'm doing cooking, cleaning, doing this X, Y, and Z. I'm dealing with your bad attitude. I'm dealing with your dirty draws. I'm dealing with the other women potentially, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, so when I do ask for something, it's got to be all this. So if her lens is like, all right, so all I'm asking for is like emotional connection. You know, make sure we occasionally watch a good show together. Every so often I get flowers, even once a month, and maybe date night once or twice a month. And this can't even do that. Dudes can't even do that. So it's, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, when you're a therapist or you're a dude that's been around enough women, you realize they got some legitimate gripes too, Barrett.
For sure. If that's the plane you're gonna land on, is they have legitimate gripes. Completely agree.
Yeah, but in terms of overall, who's worse when it comes to satisfaction? Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close. We are easier to satisfy, I would say, in most areas. I do agree that sexually we're in general a little bit worse, but women been catching up the last 20 years. I've been looking at the stats. I think the stats are, we're damn near close to even when it comes to inability for men and women, generally speaking, to show up consistently and faithfully sexually and be monogamous. I think the cheating numbers are starting to balance out. And now that thing that they always threw on men and being like, you could never be satisfied with one woman, a whole lot of your homegirls can't be either.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's the truth.
But here's the thing, like, so here's just what I believe. I believe living an outstanding life, and I don't believe you get there by fighting your nature. If the human animal, male or female, were monogamous, then we wouldn't have so many. We're not a monogamous species. And so you're sitting there, we're judging ourselves. Like, first off, I'm a child of God. God didn't make no mistakes when he made me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I made in the image of a God, therefore I am a God. If my dog has a puppy, that dog is a dog. It's made in the image of a dog, right? There's nothing wrong with me. And so going back to Shane, it's like, bro, you're like, if God made you to respond to fat asses and titties, okay, when and you are trying your damnness to be monogamous and, you know, and stick to this woman, you're gonna fall short, bro. It's in your nature. It doesn't, you don't need to feel bad. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need to shame yourself for things that are in you that you can't control.
I think there's a difference. So I think we can't control desire. I do think we can control our behaviors. And in the secondary piece is civilizations don't work unless there is some type of formalized agreement of, are you going to take care of your kids or not? Are you, you know, so there's that piece of, I think a lot of people love the liberalism of do what you want. If you ain't feeling it no more, move on, whatever. But it's exactly for why we're in the situation we're in as a culture and environment now.
Question. Have you ever, and of course there's all kind of things that can happen in between a husband and wife, a baby daddy, baby mama, all that, right? I just really don't, I mean, I've never experienced it, but maybe I just hang around quality guys. Like I have a hard time believing that men go and get a woman pregnant and then be like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with you or that baby. Don't ever come. I just like
I'll
I
tell
don't.
you. I'll tell you
Go
why.
ahead. Go ahead.
So, what I mean is the version of. I'm one of these people that's like, I think we need a legalized form of either not just monogamy, as terms of like, I think we need to move to a place as a culture where we're open to more formal acceptance of these alternative approaches to relationships. So, like you said, you mentioned a sister wife. I think that's a legit thing that like needs to stop being stigmatized, right? Like I actually do believe that actually would help a lot, so that like a lot of ladies stop feeling like they're settling. Yeah. But what I'm basically saying is when you have an environment where it's either a lot of people are choosing between marriage or being baby daddies, baby mamas, that in between, there's other options with that. And I think what's happening is when it comes to the nuclear family and when it comes to westernized civilizations, being able to grow and a nuclear family showing clearly from a statistical standpoint the best options and outcomes across the board. My view is, bro, we're in a situation where more people are doing and acting less on we got to keep this family intact, keep this union intact, and going more off of what you're saying. And that's explaining actually why we're in the dynamics we're in.
Wait. Going off of what I'm saying, what am I saying?
I think what you're saying is we're not built to stay with one person.
No. No.
But just in terms of monogamy, because I'm like, if what you're saying is we have natural biological inclinations that won't lean us to staying with one person or wanting to stay with one person, you're factually 100% accurate. What I'm saying is in order for a civilization to work and for it to thrive and the rest of our country to not look like the Black community, that requires a whole lot of people.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
That requires a whole lot of people doing what Black people aren't doing, which is getting married, staying married, or coming up with alternative options. So, for instance, you want to be Nick Cannon, you want to be Cam Newton. What's the formal arrangement so that these women are covered? All right. So if so for instance, same guy got 2-3 baby mamas.
Yeah.
But culturally, he's truly responsible. And he puts himself in a position, whether they're all in the same home or there's a property where they all get their separate living quarters or whatever. That's the now new expectation.
So check this out. To me, that is what humans have been doing all time. Like you have kings.
Kinda. So I know people personally.
Yeah.
Secret families.
Okay.
Granddaddy was a Rolling Stone. I'm just saying that like we're doing the Jack Lake version of that.
The who?
The Jack Lake version. We doing we're doing the ridiculous version of secret kids, secret families, messiness. When I'm saying
meaning everyone doesn't know each other.
Yes, the formalized thing. So the Arabic countries, some of the African countries, like they have it where it's more formal, like an actual more standardized, respectable approach of wife one, wife two, sister wife. Even back in the day, ancient Israel, biblical, they had concubines had a role. She still belonged to somebody.
Yes. And I think we're saying the same thing. I'm saying in order to get there, we're going to have to be less shaming and yet less shameful of people.
Okay. Yeah. That right? I can acknowledge, but I think the part is the lack of shame is what's created an environment. Because again, what I'm basically saying is the lack of shame is what's convincing them that it's totally cool. It's normalized to move at it the way that they are. So as an example, Lou Williams, right, from the NBA, the basketball player, he consistently will go out in public with 2 women in his arms. Neo got 3-4.
Let me tell you, them the guys I'm taking all my tips from. I shout out to those.
The point I'm making is that part I agree with. If it's consensual, it's open, everybody's on the same page. That's not what's happening in Atlanta, brother. That's not what's happening in Philly. That is not what's happening in Miami.
So let me tell you how I think we get there. And I think it's a lot simpler. I think it's a lot simpler than what we make it. I think that marriage is a bad contract. Point blank period.
Mm.
When you say, hey, like I know guys who want children and family and all that, but they don't want to have half their shit on the line. Right? Like you
Yes.
can want
Yeah.
one without the
And
other,
we talked
right?
about, well, on my platform, you've heard me probably reference the lifestyle contract, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I agree with you on that 100%. I do
So yeah,
think that
we
could be a
can't
normalized thing that
we
addresses
can't say
alignment.
men have commitment issues, which I've never heard you say, but
Yeah.
other people do think it's not commitment, it's risk. No one wants more risk than necessary. Now,
Mm-hmm.
so let's make this real simple. Let's say there's a guy out there and he's choosing between and he starts dating two women, right?
Yeah.
And you know, he's not doing too much. He's like, hey, I'm not taking you to Cheesecake Factory. I'm not, you gonna come chill in my apartment, or we just not gonna chill.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can take it or leave it. And he's got two women. One is like, hey, you're gonna need to give me X, Y, and Z. You're gonna need to give me the house, the home, the cars, the kid, in order for me to be your wife. And the other says, look,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't got to give me nothing. I just enjoy your company. You just really do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
If he was going to marry one of them,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't make sense that he marries the second one. Correct?
Yeah.
And so and let's just say they never get married. They just rock out for 20, 30 years. He take care of her and the kids. She take care of him. And every other month they check in. Hey, bro, baby, you still want to do this? Yes, no. Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like, and then if you desire to add other women, you just say, hey, I desire to add other women. She could either be with it or she could be not. But don't lie to her. Don't snoop. Don't cheat. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes. And the lifestyle contract, I mentioned it, I've talked with a few people about it, including Fresh on Fresh and Fit or whatever. And when it comes to the lifestyle contract, you can do this multiple times with multiple people. The caveat that I'm always going to say is, I know from a clinical standpoint, and just anybody who got eyeballs and actually looked this stuff up, I understand and see and know what the statistical odds are when two people aren't present in a child's life on a much more consistent, regular basis. And I think there has to be a version of what you're saying that keeps these people in each other's life versus, oh, you done? You want to move on? All right, I'll take the kid with me. Like, I want
yes. Okay, so let's talk about that piece.
Yes.
That piece is she perceives that this is the best man that I can get. So therefore, let me just get on his program. Because a lot of these women are divorcing and they're leaving. Let's be real. Most times when relationships end, we ain't got to talk about marriages. We can just talk about dating couples. The woman is the one leaving. Most men ain't got enough options to leave. It's usually the woman. And it's because, and I see it, I totally get it. Like, I try not to be judgmental of women. I try to understand them.
Yeah.
I get it because this guy has emotional baggage that he's yet to like look into. They'll be like, oh, he doesn't speak. I can't connect with him. Baby, he don't know how he feel either. He doesn't have the words. He's not done the shadow work or whatever you want to call it. He doesn't like himself. So you're trying to get this man to open up and connect and talk to you about these sensitive things. He don't even talk to himself about these things.
Yeah. Right? Oh, and real quick, man, shout out to BGS, the legend in the pulling up in the building, man. Please make sure BGS, you email me as well, brother. I want to connect with you about something. And that's what I was warning. And I think what you're saying and I'm saying is definitely the happy compromise where it's like, we don't want it to end. We don't want it to stay the way it is now. Right. But I also totally don't blame men to want to get the state out of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I think first of all, lifestyle contracts, I found this out late. They've been guys that's very wealthy and rich been doing this for the last 30 years. But they kept it amongst themselves in their circles. And it's just now. That it's like passport bros. Guys been doing that since the 60s. If you want to quiet as kept, really we can go back even a little bit earlier than that, where they kind of was doing this for a while and then it kind of hit the mainstream. My view, honestly, is a lifestyle contract that has a few different expectations of behaviorally how to conduct yourself, what to do, how to move, what happens, even include children, wills, and name it. You can adapt. Listen, if you treat it the way we treat the athletes and the sports leagues treat it, you coming up on your contract, let's see if we're gonna renew this or not. And I like or you want to be a free agent. And what I'm realizing is what you said about 3 minutes ago about who initiates divorce and why. I do agree that I think as a result of less people I foresee what you're saying, and what I'm saying, if
Mhm.
people start doing that, I think more people will buy in and stick with it than the current structure of
Mhm.
married or not. Because I'm totally in agreement. Like, I'm extremely grateful for the wife that I have, and I feel like I
Yes.
got lucky with finding her. But I'm not going to
Mhm.
sit here and lie to myself and act like I can go outside and throw a rock and I'm gonna hit a woman that anywhere
Mhm.
in a 300-yard radius, and they're anything close to how she is here. That's not
Mhm.
the case. So I'm in
Mhm.
agreement, man. Like, if I was single right now, I wouldn't.
And here's
That
the
would be
thing,
on the table.
how much of how your wife is today
Mhm.
is because of you and your leadership and you teaching her how to behave with you.
I hope she watching right now because she she knows I'm playing. How she was raised, man. I think
Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can't control that. That's it. Is she from Louisiana?
no, Baltimore, believe it or not.
Interesting. Okay.
But she came from a family of men and women that still saw value in marriage in the opposite sex.
Yeah, that's
Where they
gone.
do the family, they
That's
do the
gone.
holidays
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
They men and the women, they're great cooks. They came from a line of
You're a blessed
cookbooks.
man, bro. You're a blessed man.
Woo! So, like, her aunts, they come over every other week. Her mother is here every week, 3 days a week to
Mhm.
help 2 days a week to help us with the kids. So it's one of
Oh,
those
wow.
things where, yeah, but those are the things I paid attention to outside of just how she makes me
Got it.
feel and whether or not I
Got it.
like her.
Got it.
And
Got
so
it.
for
Got it.
me, it wasn't, you said it at the very beginning of this interview, man, and the show. Like, it was, I think it's a thing of like, when you find what you're looking for and it's really compatible in its alignment, you're doing a lot
Mhm.
more tweaks to the edges than I need a
Mhm.
whole personality change with you. Like, that's
Mhm.
not what's going on. And I do think 90 to 95% of this clashing relationally is just about
Mhm.
misalignment. And it's
Agreed.
like
Agreed.
what you said is what I'm working on right now, where
Mhm.
with a project I'm working on right now, where it's like, let's say there is a market in the space for how a man wants to show up in society or how women want to show up. Maybe
Mhm.
you don't want to be the ultra submissive house trad wife thing. That's not your thing. You don't want that. That's cool, right? So there's
Mhm.
guys that want the version, you want to be the boss babe that works the next 20, 30 years making all this money. Like, if that's the thing for you,
They don't though, Jeff. I think it's just so much simpler.
I,
They
I'm
no
gonna so
woman
I'm
wants
gonna
to
I'm
work
gonna give
hard.
you an example. A lot of times when we say they do or don't,
Okay.
there's people I know that are very much personally that are fine with that. They're at my house yesterday that are fine with that. And what I'm basically saying, man, is I would rather when people make a choice, you want to
Yes.
work, you want to
Yep.
prioritize kids, you want to not prioritize a family, you want to prioritize having a family at 18,
Mhm.
you want to prioritize your career through your 20s. All I want as a man and as a woman, regardless of your age, regardless of where you're
Mhm.
at, is for you to go in with your eyes wide open of what your options are by you
Yes.
continuing to move in that direction.
Yes.
And then live with
Yes.
the consequences and stop saying
Yes.
all men ain't this and all women
Yes.
ain't that.
Yes.
No, when you decide this is how I'm going to move, this is the more than likely options you're probably going to have based off of your current
Mhm.
presentation and the decisions you previously made and currently are moving in. That
Mhm.
and then live with that. So as an
Yes.
example, that's it, bro. So I'm like, if she decides I want to do the OnlyFans thing, that's your choice. You have every
Yep.
right to do it.
Yep.
This is your potential likely outcomes based off your pretty privilege, based off of what you're showing, based off of the types of men that will be open to being accepting of that, and the caliber of families that you're going to be even be able to enter into if they find out about this. And if you're okay with that, keep it moving. That's it. Because now you don't have to run around saying I didn't know and I didn't know what it was going to be. No, you do know. All right.
Mhm.
And on the flip side, you want to be a guy that runs around in this red pill manosphere space and talk about
Mhm.
women ain't shit and this and that. You absolutely can do that. But if you spend so much time deciding I'm gonna stay away from women and I'm not dealing with them for the next 5 years, who's suffering? No, nobody else.
Yeah.
Like, nobody
Yeah.
can. Like, that's your choice. If you wanted to go the next 20, 30 years without being in a quality relationship or dealing with women, that's your choice. But realize what the consequences going to be on the back end as a result of that.
We're talking
So,
about the MGTOW men. Those guys are
yes.
losers. Those guys are losers.
Um, First of all, I don't believe I think a lot of what people put on social media is cap, men and women.
For
I
sure.
think
For
hold
sure.
on. You got the women that say they hate men, but they still sleeping with them.
They hate their daddy. That's what it is.
You got the men that saying they hate women, but they got OnlyFans subscriptions. They still going to strip clubs. They still hitting up the prostitutes when they go out of town. Like, come on, stop the cap, bro. So the reality is like I hear what people are saying.
Yes.
I would rather people get to a place where they don't have to be jaded because they're fully accepting of the decision and lifestyle that you're choosing to make and what comes with that. You don't want to date for you don't want to you want to be in your healing season for the next 5 years of your life. So be it. But by the time you come out of that healing season, your options may not be the same. You want to decide that women aren't important, fine. But there's going to be a cost that comes with every choice you listen. I'm saying the same thing for things that we would deem as positive. You say you want to get married. These are the pros and cons of it. You say you want to stay single. These are the pros and cons of it. You want to do the bachelor life for the next 10, 15 years. These are the pros and cons of it. So when you did the bachelor thing from 30 to 45, and then all your same friends that you hanging out with, you showing up and seeing all their kids having graduations and milestones and seeing their kids getting married and you ain't even got no kids, that's your choice. If you decide from your 20s to 40 years old as a woman, you didn't want to prioritize relationships and families, fine. That's your choice. So for
I
me,
don't even think they want to be making their own choices though. Like,
well, nature versus nurture, we could have a different discussion. My whole point is, me entering into this space, I really want to get us to a place where just our eyes are wide open, man, and that we're making much more educated decisions on why we're continuing to move versus society, what we're used to, the environment. Yo, your environment
choose for yourself is what I'm hearing.
Your environment may not have told you why staying on the block every day through your 20s ain't gonna lead to positive outcomes versus keeping your ass in the house and studying, getting in them books. So for me, that's more so where I'm at, man. It's like there's pros and cons to every single decision and choice we're going to make, especially relationally. And I think that's the best approach to how if you're going to get in behind the microphone, how you can actually help people. If you just want to preach to the choir, that's cool. But if your goal is, bro, you want to leave, I've literally done this with men. If you leave your marriage because she ain't having sex with you, this is what's going to come with it. Pros and cons. You going to get, you may
you got to make that decision.
Yeah. Now you may have less money. You may lose the house. Your kids may hate you for a while or period. You got to deal with the version of how she's going to describe the situation. She's never going to mention what she was doing wrong.
She's going to play the victim. Yeah,
exactly. So you know all that this is coming. And if you think it's worth it to still do that after the fact, because what happens is when people make these life altering decisions and they don't have enough information, they actually have to end up with people like me on the other end to keep them alive. To keep them still being here, to still see value in themselves when they made moves that they didn't really. I made moves previously with previous women that I would never make now.
Of course.
Ever.
Because you have better information.
Didn't know.
Yes.
I just didn't know. I genuinely did not know certain. I knew women, but I didn't know how significant unresolved trauma could manifest. I didn't know that. I just didn't know. And I'm like, okay, now, so whenever she's hurt, she got to run to certain guys. So now that she's with me, if we having a falling out, nah, she won't do that to me. She was just hurt at that time. No. I better learn. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dead ass when I say like
special.
Yeah. So when you she slashed his tires, but I would never like. Okay, buddy. So now that's red pill to me. Is when you're telling the audience, I'm not even telling you what to do. Yeah. I'm just telling you what the pros and cons, risk factors are for whatever moves you've made or are going to continue to make. And then you just make the best, most educated decision that you can that protects you and your future aspirations or whatever it is you want to accomplish in life. So listen, man, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was dope. When I start doing some panels, man, you definitely got to come through, bro.
I thank you for the invite. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Bet. Yeah, man. So real quick, bro, because this was just random and we just decided to do this. And I appreciate everybody that kind of tuned in. Where can people find and support you? Where can people find and support you?
Yes, so they can find me on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram at AD the Kingmaker. Same thing on my YouTube as well. If you are a husband who's looking for some coaching, looking for some help, looking to bring that desire and that respect back, so you don't have to leave, you can just get her in line again. Go to the 30dayfix.net. It's on the screen here. So for some one-on-one coaching.
Bet. So listen, gentlemen, definitely reach out to this guy. Now, again, if you broke, don't reach out to him. Listen, if you come out, if you start off broke, by the time he get done with you, you probably won't be, because he gonna tell you a whole host of things you probably got to do to get yourself in order. But I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed the back and forth and hearing, your different lens and perspective on what you're doing. And like I said, man, I tell people when I get the chance, as long as they have some type of form of balance, and they're definitely trying to make sure, whether they're talking exclusively to women or exclusively to men, that they are trying to humanize the opposite sex that they're talking about, and you're doing good work. If it gets to the point, man, where they're walking away hating the other species, you didn't do your job.
Agreed.
You didn't do your job.
I believe we need each other, bro. Like to me, my goal is to become the best version of myself, showcase that to the world. I can't become the best version of myself without women. Like, I need to learn how to lead women, lead children, lead men. That means I need men, I need women, I need children. So we need each other. It's all about coming back together, for sure.
Yeah, man.
In a realistic way, to where I understand her and her nature. She understands me and my nature. So yeah, I completely agree.
What's going on, Dad? I know you was watching, just randomly pulled up. And but listen, man, I thoroughly enjoyed this. And like I said, man, we're gonna do this a lot more often. So everybody, for either end, if you're not subscribed to either of our channels or platforms, feel free to do so. And let's continue to build and collab, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited of what you're building. And I'm excited because I have a feeling, man, when we get done having our side conversations, man, what's about to happen to your platform is going to be, you're going to see.
I can't wait. Look, I'm so excited I can barely sleep at night. So I don't need no more. Like, I'm literally learning how to pass and express my emotions so I can calm my body down and go to sleep, bro. I'm just grateful for you having me on your platform, and glad that Taylor connected us. Shout out to Taylor Chandler.
Shout out to Taylor Chandler, by the way. But I appreciate the fact that hey, you invited me for us to just do this random convo, and it was dope. And there was so many things I think we didn't even get to touch on. And I'm like, because one of those combos I know we definitely got to touch on is sexless marriages, sexless relationships. And I think that's probably gonna be one of my earliest panel discussions. So I think I'm gonna be planning that pretty soon.
I will tell you, I think I'm the best on earth at solving that problem. That's what I believe. That's my opinion. Just based on the results that I've gotten my clients, I understand them. So yeah, just please have me.
And Dad, appreciate you for the $100. That will not be going to my daughter, to your grandchild. That will be coming to me. But listen, man, everybody, thanks for everybody for tuning in random. I got a whole bunch of stuff lined up, surprise interviews, topics, different things coming this week and next week. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and we're going to talk to you guys on the other side. Peace.